want to welcome everybody to our Elder Law and Disability Rights Study Group, which is a lunch and learn. The lunch, unfortunately, we don't ship to you, so I hope you enjoy your lunch. But today we have a really special program. New coming to Maryland is a new model for care, and that's the Wesley at Home program. And Jason, Frank, and Jessica, I'm sorry, don't recall your last name.
Novella.
You'll introduce her, please. Are going to share. And if you don't know, Jason, of course, wrote the book in Maryland, and so he just has a ton of information. And I'm really excited about this program for our clients. So welcome and thanks for attending. Go to it, Jason.
All right. Well, thanks, Larry. With me on to manage the technical aspects is the administrator of our program, Jessica Novello. Folks, the Wesley at Home is a continuing care at home program, which was my pandemic pro bono project, which in all to be completely transparent, I am now counsel to. So this is a volunteer project, which has turned into something a bit more substantial at this point. But to give you a little bit of the history and a little bit of what's going on, we are a continuing care at home program. Wesley was a small continuing care retirement community in northern Baltimore City. As a result of a series of unfortunate events, the campus was sold. It's now Springwell. But the Wesley, going back to 155 years, is still very much in existence. People used to look at the building and say, that looks like it was the Confederate soldiers' home. Well, that's actually the Maryland State Police headquarters. The Wesley was the Union widows' home from 1867. So when people make jokes about it, that's why because that's what it looks like. But we've been serving seniors in the Baltimore metro area for 155 years, and it's our intention to continue to do so. We are very much a nonprofit, and we are in process of getting our initial certificate of registration from the Department of Aging to provide continuing care at home in Baltimore County and Baltimore City. We expect to be applying to go statewide, or at least substantially a larger jurisdiction after the summer. But right now, we expect to be able to provide services starting July 1 in Baltimore County and Baltimore City. Jess, next slide. The legal authority for continuing care at home is in COMAR and in the Human Services article. This is a subset of the law that deals with continuing care retirement communities. It's been in the law for over 20 years. There was one attempt made 20 years ago, and it did not succeed. During the midst of the pandemic, at the Wesley's board meeting, we contemplated, why didn't it succeed? We didn't want to try and set up another retirement community. We wanted to do something different. In the midst of the pandemic, we wanted to come up with something that allowed people to do what all my clients always said that they wanted to do, which was to age in place. And what the continuing care at home is a different financial model for allowing people to do exactly that, which is to age in place. So if you want to look at where the legal authority is, it's there in COMAR 320202, and in the Human Services article of the annotated code, Title 10, Subtitle 4. It is right. This program is regulated by the State Department of Aging, and the financials, contracts, actuarial opinions have been submitted and approved by the State Department of Aging. We have a change in the law, amendment that went through this session, which we believe will allow us to begin providing services to our very first member on July 1. Next slide. This is not a new concept. Like I said, it's been in the law for over 20 years in Maryland, and it just has never been successfully attempted. The one effort did not succeed. Leading Age National is hosting an alliance of continuing care at home providers. Right now, there are 37 nationally, 5 in Pennsylvania, 4 in Virginia, and 0 in Maryland. It's regulated by state, and a lot of times, like CCRCs, a lot of states, it's regulated through the state insurance commissions. In Maryland, it is through the Department of Aging. Next slide. What is it? Well, it's more than long-term care insurance. It's similar to a retirement community, but your home is your care unit. It's your independent living unit. It's your assisted living unit. It's your nursing unit. We have contracts with assisted living and nursing providers, but the idea is for people to be able to stay in their own home. Right now, this year, we're offering a maximum daily lifetime long-term care. This is not limited. It's a lifetime benefit. This year, the maximum is $350 a day, and it's triggered under the same terms as the IRS 7702B, the test for tax deductibility of long-term care expenses. Of course, there's a medical, insurance, and financial screen, but the focus is on preventive home supports and preferred access to participating providers. Whether it's home care, assisted living, or nursing, we have contracts with all of those providers, and the assisted living and nursing have agreed to accept our maximum benefit amount at $350 a day as payment in full. The services are care coordination, home inspection, social and educational opportunities. You can see what it is. For those who become chronically ill, those who trigger the test under 7702B, this is when the long-term care benefits kick in. It's homemaker and personal care, medical transportation, adult day, assisted living, nursing, all coordinated and included. This is an actuarially sound, financially self-supporting, and it's portable. But the idea here is that we're providing a package of services to people once they join. There's a package of services that people receive when they're well. It's not just a matter of paying thousands of dollars and waiting until, or if you get sick, to get something out of it. People will get something out of this program as soon as they join. Next slide. What isn't it? It's not health insurance. It's not a home health company, though we do provide home health services. For those of you familiar with Elizabeth Cooney, Elizabeth Wegline, president of the company, is on our board, and she has sworn to us that we are a priority to providing services through her agency. It's not a village model. It's not a competitor with CCRCs. People don't move for this program. They stay in their own homes. They stay in their community. It's not a skilled nursing at home model, though we can provide that. And it's not long-term care insurance. There's no elimination period, and there's no limit on daily benefits. It is a lifetime of benefits. And honestly, in our analysis of what needs to be in place for medical underwriting, we think we are less strict than the medical underwriting standards for long-term care insurance. Next slide. And now our proposed continuum of services, of course, looks like your proverbial pyramid. And it starts with that personalized assessment and service plans there at the bottom. People who are, there's an initial package of services for people who are well. It's the emergency response systems, it's a telenurse, it's a Community for Life membership. This is a program through the State Department of Aging, and we have contracted with the Community for Life providers in Baltimore City and Baltimore County. Keswick and Broadmead includes vetted referrals for home care services. I think it's an hour a month of handyman services, community services navigation, some transportation benefits. It's a real package of services that we think people will enjoy and use. And we're trying to expand on this to include access to discounted tickets for every possible event, whether it's sports or music or theater. We're looking at including or adding to it home delivered gourmet meals and some other stuff. And of course, at the point where people trigger the long-term care benefits, when they meet that test, the 7702B test, is when all the lifetime benefits, and it is a lifetime daily benefit indexed for inflation with home care supports, adult day, assisted, and nursing. I have to say that we have provisions in our program to pay for family members to provide care. we have made this look like what my clients have always told me that they wanted, and we've done our best to provide these services. Next slide. The options, like a CCRC, there are entrance fees and monthly fees. The entrance fees are based on age, and the lowest entrance fee right now for a 60-year-old, a non-refundable entrance fee is $21,000 and provides $175 a day long-term care benefit. It's amortized at 2% a month over 50 months. We do have a 50% refundable once the beneficiary, the member passes or upon termination, and the other half amortizes over 50 months. We're allowing people to pay the entrance fee over 36 months, either monthly or annual. We believe, based upon discussions with our actuary, that the entrance fee will be a 100% medical expense. The monthly fees, again, range from $500 to $750. These are paid for the duration of the contract, and everything is going to be indexed for inflation under the CPI. Next slide. This is an example of our contracts. This one is the $175 a day lifetime benefit over a 50-month declining balance, and you can see for a 60-year-old, $21,000 is the entrance fee. The 10% down gets you pre-enrolled. We will expect to be fully in business on the July 1st of this year. So you could split this into 3 payments of $7,000, and the monthly fee is the $500. Next slide. And this is the other extreme. This is the most that we would be, an 80-year-old, or it can conceivably go in higher than that, but this is where you have a $350 a day benefit with a 50% refundability. So the entrance fee of $165.5 for an 80-year-old, monthly fee of $750. Half of that would be refunded to the estate or when they leave, and the monthly fees are $750. And you can see how this would all work out. Next slide. I hear you, Camilla. All right, the program benefits. Let's take a look at this. Coordinate training. This is for the paid family caregivers. We're going to pay 40 hours a week at minimum wage to family members who are trained. We have arranged for training purposes. As I said, this is a state-regulated program. You can choose how much insurance, how much benefit you want. It is a lifetime benefit. It is indexed for inflation. You get a care coordinator from the very beginning. This is the next one is something I want to mention with some, I think it's significant, particularly for the elder law bar. This is a situation where, as a part of the Medicaid spend down and a community spouse, if you've got an institutionalized spouse and you've got a community spouse, you've got to spend down assets in order to get Medicaid for the institutionalized spouse. The entrance fee to this program can be part of that Medicaid spend down. We've been in discussions with Medicaid and the AG's office, and they confirmed on Friday that the entrance fee to this program will be treated the same way as an entrance fee to a continuing care retirement community. And I can tell you that from our contract will mandate that the entrance fee is a unavailable asset for Medicaid purposes. So this particular bullet is very true, that spend down for Medicaid purposes is a way to make this work and ensure that while you're qualifying the institutionalized spouse for Medicaid, the community spouse will never need it. Do I conceive of this as an alternative to long-term care insurance if a person can't qualify? I think so. I think that our membership, our medical underwriting is a little bit less strict than long-term care insurance. Well-managed chronic conditions will not be denied. People with managed diabetes or similar situations will be able to be accepted into this program. I mean, the secret, it's not a secret, but in discussions with the actuaries, If people can join the program and not need long-term care benefits for 3 years, we're fine. It works out perfectly for us. Dual memberships are, people live in the same house as long as they're both over 60, whether they are spouses, partners, parent and child, siblings, whatever. Dual memberships and the discount that goes with it are possible. The long-term care benefits and the initial services, except for Community for Life, which we're working on trying to expand beyond Baltimore City and Baltimore County, are portable. We will continue to provide those services as long as you've been a member for at least a year. We believe, based on discussions with our actuary, that the entrance fee is going to be 100% deductible. And we believe that the monthly fee at this point is going to be 72% deductible. So we're looking at a major medical expense. For people who pay taxes, this should, in many instances, wipe out tax liability. Pay us instead of the government and get a lot more for it. Next slide. Who should be referred? People 60 years of age and older, including people with well-managed chronic conditions, no end-stage diseases, obviously, good functional health, good cognitive assessment scores. We're looking, this is a middle income, upper middle income, where our analysis is individuals with a $70,000 a year annual income, $750,000 in resources, and that includes the equity in their house. So we're looking at this point, it's people who live in Baltimore City or Baltimore County. The monthly fees are not so much fixed, they're indexed for inflation like everything else, but this is what you saw is what they are to begin with at this point. You have to have a health insurance, Medicare, and a prescription plan, supplemental plan, or private insurance equivalent for people under 65. There is a way to combine long-term care insurance, existing long-term care insurance with this. We've seen a lot of situations over the years where people have long-term care insurance, but it's not enough. $100 a day benefit for 2 years or 3 years can be combined with this and reduce the costs. And it's something we very much can plan for and have planned for. It's an option we've included in some of our in how we've proposed it to the state. So this is something it's really different. It's not long-term care insurance. We think it's a bit considerably more than long-term care insurance. And it really is focused on the idea of people being able to age in place. Next slide. Well, lawyers, how can we work together? People who have the appropriate health and wealth for long-term care planning are who we're looking for. Like I said, this is something that can pair well with a Medicaid spend down, where you've got a well spouse and a sick spouse. We can this a method of helping to qualify the sick spouse for Medicaid and making sure the well spouse never ever needs it. And I can tell you, after most people have encountered the Medicaid system, as we all know, people don't want to do it again. You will certainly need to review the continuing care at home contract and plan selection. That's going to take a couple hours. My best efforts, and I mean best efforts, the contract itself is just under 50 pages. You need to look at most of that's definitions, but we've tried to be as clear and transparent as possible. We need everyone to have updated current estate planning documents. Please do them. And we can make referrals of interested clients to people who need the services when they contact us. So I think this is very much a symbiotic relationship between the elder law bar and this program. Do we have another slide, or are we? Yeah, all right, let's get started. We are trying to focus people on our website. Almost everything is there. The costs are there, the benefits are there. This is as transparent as we can possibly make it. There's no mystery here. There's no vagueness here. What you will see is what you will get. There's a financial screen. Make sure that people meet physical and medical requirements. There's a $300 non-refundable intake assessment. The second applicant is $200 more. You want to set up an appointment for our care coordinator to complete the functional cognitive activity assessment. And upon recommendation for membership, we'll meet to give you all the materials. You can start with a 10% entrance deposit. Like I said, if anybody wants to enroll before July 1, everything is held in escrow. We anticipate with the change in the law that passed this session that we'll be able to start providing benefits on July 1 for people who join as members. Do we have another slide? Or I think we're done. We are done. Questions? I'm happy to answer anybody's question that I possibly can. I think there were some. I answered some as they came up. Any other questions? Let me see what's in the chat room.
Jason, there's some questions in the chat, so I can go through them with you.
Sure, I'll pull them up. You envision this as an alternative to long-term care insurance? Yeah, I mean, potentially, yes. As I said, the medical eligibility is not quite as strict as long-term care insurance, so I think it's certainly worth someone who is not able to get long-term care insurance to take a look at this program. Is there any way to combine the two? Yes, long-term care insurance. And are we not for profit? Absolutely, we are not for profit. We are a 501c3 going back literally 155 years. What happens if the participant wants to move to assisted living? We have contracts with assisted living providers, and they have agreed to accept our maximum daily benefit as payment in full if that is less than what they charge. But I think for the most part, it's going to be less than that. So if somebody wants to move to assisted living, we have contracts. If they want to go to their own and not one of the ones we have contracts with, that's fine. We'll simply pay our benefit to their provider. When will this expand beyond Baltimore City and County? Well, we're working on that this summer. We actually have a subcommittee of one of the G-Gear professor at the University of Maryland Professional Schools, who's on our board, Professor Diane Martin, and we have hired a law clerk for the summer to work on a feasibility study that will allow us to expand beyond Baltimore City and Baltimore County. We are hoping to certainly get the rest of the Baltimore metro area, Anne Arundel and Howard and Carroll and Hartford, definitely looking at the Eastern Shore and all of the rest of Maryland if we can. We have to complete a feasibility study and contract with providers there. One of the things that we're really focused on is being able to provide that package of services to people when they join, when they're well. Specifically duplicating the Community for Life program that we've contracted for in Baltimore City and Baltimore County. And we talk about refunding a portion of the upfront fee. Upfront, does this happen always, or how long one lives, or how many services one uses? It depends on the contract. The non-refundable 50-month amortization contract is just that. If somebody becomes a member of the program, they pay their entrance fee, and if they pass away in less than 50, if they die within 50 months of joining the program, then the unamortized portion would be refunded. The 50% refundable contract has 50%, which will always be held which will always be refunded to the individual or their estate upon their dying, and the other 50% is subject to that 50-month amortization. So I guess the answer is it does depend on how long they live, not so much how many services one uses, but it would depend on literally how long they live as a member of the program. What if spouse is under 60? Well, we tried to get that through the state. And all I can say is that they won't let us add anybody under 60 until they turn 60. But we have provisions to add. We would welcome them joining the program once they hit 60. We had attempted to do that from the very beginning, and the Department of Aging said that would kick us under the insurance. It got way too complicated and effectively couldn't be done. So the answer to what if spouse is under 60 is that they can join once they turn 60. Unfortunately, we can't figure out any way to do it before that. More questions? Have I missed anything so far? Don't think so.
We were asked if we were going to provide the slides, make them available.
Sure, happy to. Did I miss anything else? Slides, absolutely go to anybody and everybody who wants to see it. This, I got to tell you, this program, like I said, this is my pandemic pro bono project. When the board of the Wesley was meeting and we were trying to decide what to do, having sold our campus, and we have substantial bequest coming in 2 years, and we were talking about buying land and trying to start over again. And in the midst of the pandemic, where people in congregate housing, people were locked in their rooms for months at a time, unable to see anybody. Our executive director, Arnold Eppel, his mother was in Levindale, and he couldn't see her for 4 months before she died of COVID. We really, in our discussions, we really came to realize that the idea of people aging in place and receiving services in their own homes had never really been addressed, and the financial models for paying for it are not favorable. If you go on our website, you can see how this program allows for people to very much age in place in a model that's similar to the retirement communities, except that your house is your retirement community, which is what makes it so much less expensive than a retirement community. You don't have to sell your house. You're not paying $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 entrance fees. You're not paying $4,000 a month. What is the ideal participant based on their financial situations? Well, when we sat down and tried to look at it, for an individual, it looks like we need somebody with about a $70,000 a year income and about $750,000 in assets, but that includes the equity in their house. And we think that this is going to be applicable to a lot more people than those who would be looking to go into a continuing care retirement community, particularly on the type A model, which this very much replicates. Because we are looking at providing at this point, $350 a day worth of services to people in their home or in assisted living that we contract with, who will accept it as payment in full, or in skilled nursing. So I think this is targeted at much more middle-class population than retirement communities, and you don't have the same kind of difficulty in squeezing a middle-class lifetime of earnings and savings into a Medicaid eligibility situation by reducing assets through annuities and this kind of stuff. While saying that, like as I mentioned, it does work well with a Medicaid spend down. If people are interested, we can share the emails we have with the state, with the health department, where they have endorsed this as to be treated the same way as a continuing care retirement community. There it is. These are the emails we got last week that confirms that the continuing care at home entrance fees will be treated the same way as a continuing care retirement community. I know in my years of practice, I always liked the idea of qualifying someone, a spouse, a sick spouse, for Medicaid, and having the well spouse spend down through a retirement community so that they would never need Medicaid. But that always required them to move. That always required that they would be going somewhere else, that they would be necessarily having to sell their house, and the logistics of it never worked well in the short term. This does. This allows people to spend down for Medicaid eligibility for their sick spouse while they qualify for this program, pay for this program, and will never need Medicaid for themselves. We have really done the best we can to make, I have done the best that I can based on my meetings with clients in this area for 35 years, to come up with something that people have always said that they wanted. And that's why we've designed it this way. That's why we've included, paid family caregiving. And if for some reason somebody ends up in a situation where they do need Medicaid, they're on a vent or something like this, then the contract provides that the payment would go into a special needs trust so that they could continue to receive some benefit from the program, whether not the least of which we would envision as paying for private duty nursing. Let's see what else we got. Wait a minute, there was a question there. I missed that one. Value assessed market rate cumulative discounted. That's the maximum. We have the maximum benefit right now. Daily benefit is $350. We've got the other contracts are 280 and 175. People can choose which one they want to pick. And we have contracts with assisted living and nursing to ensure that if people elect to go to these providers, that this pays for everything. Here's the slide that shows you what those options are, named after Maryland waterways. Let's see, what else we got here? What other questions for me to answer, if I can? Other questions for people? I'm telling you, I think that people doing planning, long-term care planning with people in their 60s, late 60s and 70s, I think will find this to be an option that is desirable by a lot of clients. And I think people in crisis situations, particularly spousal situations, will find this to be very useful as well. And you can see that the benefits amount, we've given people options in terms of the daily benefit amount and whether the entrance fees are 50% refundable or simply amortized over 50 months. I am looking for some more questions because I got to tell you.
Jason, I have a quick question for you. So let's say that, and I think you said you're expecting this to go live in the fall.
July.
That's a different kind of fall. But anyway, okay. And so let's say somebody feels like they might be a good candidate. You said you like the website to start with, but can a professional, you said it's good synergistics between the professionals and your program. How would they sort of, present the situation to somebody at Wesley and, get an idea of whether it does make sense?
Almost everything that I think people would want to know is on the website. If you look through it, you'll see a lot of what we've just gone through. And this is the way that people can contact us, either directly or through counsel. I can tell you we're happy to work with counsel to go through the program benefits, go through the contract. And it very much encourages people to have all the necessary estate planning documents that we would want in terms of, powers of attorney and wills, trusts, and this kind of stuff. We can pre-enroll now with the amendment to state law that passed in this last session. The requirement that we have 30 pre-enrollees before we can start offering services to members is no longer exclusive. We have the option of adding a surety bond instead of the pre-enrollees as of July 1. So we expect that the very first members who join will begin to receive the initial services on July 1. And please, I mean, literally everything that we think people would want to know is on the website. We are doing presentations in Baltimore County at this point at various libraries around the county. We're looking at doing some of them in the city as well. And as I said, during the summer, we're going to be working on a feasibility study to expand the program, hopefully statewide, as soon as the state will approve it, which we're hoping would be done in the fall. But you can see all of this is all coming from our website, I believe. And the idea here, though, is that it's not just a long-term care benefit. It very much provides current benefits to people who are well. And what we're trying to do is to create a community of members of this program. It really is a self-insurance community for long-term care. It's actuarially sound, self-sustaining. We're in a position we have the sufficient financial reserves to meet all the requirements to begin operation, like I say, July 1, once a new law kicks in and we can post the surety bond to satisfy people's, assure people the financial viability of the program. More questions? Okay, I have more answers. I think I do anyway. Anybody else want any questions? I think really this is something, when you have clients who come in for long-term care planning, just estate planning purposes, that are residents of Baltimore City, Baltimore County, I think you really, really consider giving this option. Now, the average age for continuing care retirement community people when they go in is about 80. Nationally, for these programs, it's late 60s, early 70s. So these are younger people, these are healthier people, and not necessarily as wealthy as people going into the continuing care retirement communities. And our intent was to try and replicate the benefits of a type A, so that once you're in and you have the benefit pays for your care, and this relieves the issues, the concerns about people being able to pay for their long-term care, because it's a lifetime benefit. Once people are in this program, their care is essentially guaranteed for the rest of their lives. Other questions? Larry, you got something else for me?
I do not have anything else. We'll ask for last questions from anybody.
All right, well, don't feel in no way hesitate contacting us for additional information. Like I said, right now, we are strictly in Baltimore City and Baltimore County, and when somebody comes in and they've got one of those addresses, please consider this for their planning purposes. And when this goes in a larger scale outside of the Baltimore metro area, I can promise you, we will let everyone know as rapidly as we can. But I can tell you that Anne Arundel and Howard, Hartford, Carroll, Eastern Shore are all prime targets for our expansion, and suburban DC and Western Maryland as well. Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? Going to lunch?
Apparently,
Anybody?
they were supposed to be eating lunch.
That's what I'm saying.
So I want to thank Jason, who apparently appears on the screen as Lori. So
I am always going to be. It is my pleasure to appear in that role.
And well, we'll just do they them, and that'll be fine.
Okay.
And Jessica, thank you for your technological support, as well as Angela as well. And I just wanted to mention about our next program is going to be on May 19th, and Elena Salado is going to present on a really important topic. There were a lot of people that were emergency approved in Medicaid. They were summarily approved during the emergency, and now those are going to be thoroughly reviewed. So she's going to talk about what that looks like. Sorry about the background noise. And what that looks like, and educate us on what we should be expecting for our own clients. Wow. Super sorry for the noise in the background. And but thank you all for attending, and we'll see you and the boat May the 19th.
Take care, folks.